Hello and welcome. This is a game called 404sight. It is a free game that showed up on Steam a couple of weeks ago, and it's fundamentally a game about net neutrality in a weird way. That's kind of why it's free. It's basically intended to be a sort of statement on the nature of net neutrality. Now, it has a couple of really unique features. The first of which is the ability to ping. So you can see, if I click the left mouse button, I can ping. I can also run faster. If I click the right mouse button, that increases my speed. It takes a little bit of speed off. Yeah, it's intended to be, I guess, a statement. It was made, I think, as a student project, primarily. To make a comment about net neutrality, which is a thing they have in the United States that we don't really have here in Australia because our ISPs are kind of crazy. But yeah, basically it's all about whether there should be paid traffic prioritization and various other bits and pieces. Basically whether the internet itself should be treated as a sort of utility service or as something else. And as you can see by this sort of tutorial level, what you can do in this game is you ping, and then it reveals these sort of fast lanes on the map. Yeah, again, that's the kind of level of statement they're going for here. Reveals these fast lanes on the map and allows you to get through them, but it also reveals hazards on the map, and you'll see them mostly as red circles. That show up as we go along, and what that means is that if you unping like that, it gets rid of all those. So there, I sort of stuffed that up, but that's kind of what you're supposed to do in those circumstances. So the goal of the game is to get through the levels as fast as possible. There's not a lot of sort of penalty for failing, and I generally don't use the high speed mode because I forget that it's there. But yeah, you can see that I'm running, and she'll change colour. I didn't mean to jump there. She'll change colour based on the level of speed she has, and of course the more speed you have, the faster you can go. You can activate our speed and choose it up. And if I ping that, we'll get there, we'll bounce off these. So the controls are pretty simple. Standard WASD, if you're using... Oh, I stuffed that up rather badly. No, I did not. That's amazing that I made that. But I stuffed that part up. Yeah, okay, so that didn't quite go as well as I would have liked. Yeah. And you just sort of saw one of the sort of issues this game can have, which is that if you take that ping away, the art style basically is really cool. It's that very crisp style that reminds me a lot of the challenge levels that came with Mirror's Edge on the PC, where it was all just sort of very abstracted away and various bits and pieces like that. So it sort of reminds me a little bit of that, and I imagine that Mirror's Edge was a little bit of an inspiration for this game, not just in terms of its style and the way it plays, but also I guess in some ways in terms of its story, because it's very much about this sort of, you know, person who has to run very far to get away from nebulous corporate evil, or whatever it is. I think in this case you're basically hacking, you're actually inside a computer hacking, which is why everything looks so abstracted. So it's sort of, let's call it a cross between Mirror's Edge and Rez. That seems like a good thing to call it. I don't find it a particularly challenging game. However, it is fun to play. It's got nice music, and I do love the look. I always love games that have this kind of a look to them. I'm a big fan of these kind of games. I'm a big fan of things like Rez, and I'm a big fan of actually the sequel to Rez, which is Child of Eden, which I think is a criminally underrated game, and dramatically deserves a PS4 or Xbox One version, or both. I would happily take both in that particular case. And as you can probably hear, this game has a pretty banging soundtrack as well, so it's pretty cool. I should probably be a bit more circumspect on the views I expressed just before about net neutrality and stuff, but as I said, because I live in Australia, it's something that's never really been an issue here because we've never had it in this country, ISPs have always capped usage, and by capping usage, they've basically enabled a system where they can essentially prioritize traffic by basically making it not count towards your usage cap. And because basically no one in Australia has unlimited internet access, there are plans that do it, but they're usually either not very good in terms of the speeds you get, or they're very expensive, like business plan level expensive. We tend not to have it as much here, and it isn't as big a debate. In fact, when Netflix launched in Australia recently, they got into a little bit of trouble in the American press for essentially being uncapped on some of our ISPs, because of course their anti-net neutrality stance over there. But here in Australia, that's actually pretty normal, and for those of us who are on most Australian ISPs, having uncapped access to Netflix would actually be really cool. Of course, we don't have it, but it would be really cool if we did. So, anyway, there's my semi-political rant about... I should have used my boost there. There's my semi-political rant about net neutrality and why it's not something I'm as torn up about as I would be if I was living in the United States. I fully understand the arguments for and against it, and obviously I feel that it would be a good thing to have over there in that environment. But here in Australia, it's just not something that makes sense because of the way our ISPs. If we had uncapped internet access and we had, you know, ISPs that weren't terrible, or our national broadband network came together more successfully than it has been, then perhaps it would be more of a thing here. But for the moment, we can't even have the debate because we don't have the internet infrastructure to really set that debate up. So, and it's unfortunate, I guess, but that's just the nature of things over here. So, anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now and get back to showing you more of this game, which I think is really good. The best part, of course, is that it's actually free. So it won't cost you anything to try this game. If you're watching this video, you think, oh, that looks interesting, I might spend some money on that. Well, you don't have to. It's free. You can just download it off Steam. Just search for 404sight, and it's right there, and I've done a terrible thing. I'm going to die. You don't really die, you de-res and you spawn, because it's the whole Tron thing about de-resing. I suppose Tron's actually another point of influence for this game. I didn't even think about that. There we go. Got it right that time. So... uh-oh. There we go. Can we make it? No. Okay, I stuffed that up badly. I'll do it again. We'll try and get through this whole section. The checkpointing isn't too bad in this game. You generally don't start off too far back from where you were. So what you actually need to do here is disable that, re-enable that, disable it again, then boost. There we go. That's what we needed to do. So the areas are basically all interconnected. You usually only know because the timer resets, and you get, yeah, the timer resets, and you get new music sometimes, which is cool. The soundtrack's great, by the way. So, and I think this is a game worth checking out. Like I said, it's not going to cost you anything to check it out anyway, so, you know, go for it. You know, don't let me stop you. You know, I mean, I'm not even trying to review this game. I'm not going to apply a strong critical eye to a game that doesn't cost anything, because, you know, and I mean, it's not free to play either. It's properly free. This is, you can just go on Steam and get it. They're not going to charge microtransactions. In fact, they were trying to add Steam trading cards to this game, and realised that the only way to add trading cards was, in fact, whoa, I died. The only way to add trading cards would have been to sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate a little bit here. To charge money for the game, or for some aspect of the game, and they did not wish to do that. So there we go, another area transition there. So yeah, that's 404sight. It's free on Steam. I've done my soapboxing for the day, and probably for the week. Normal service will resume tomorrow. I'm sorry about that, guys. I just had to make a point, because it's what the game's trying to make a point about. Okay, so, and I as much as I agree with the ideas of the game, it's something that's not really relevant to me, because I don't live in the country where it most matters, I suppose. So, but yes. Anyway, I recommend this game regardless of your political stances, because it's just a really well put together little running game. And, you know, it's a good time waster, I suppose is the best way to say it. and or time counter, in fact. And yeah, I think I explained the rules. Avoid the red stuff, run on the green stuff, use your boosts when you can, bounce around the place like that because the game automatically directs you, and yeah, have fun, enjoy. I will see you all next time.